Hey everyone, it's Maria and I am here to do kind of a response video to some of the great video content that I've seen put out on Booktube this week. I also am planning on talking about the books that I've read over the years that have changed some of the racist ideas that I had internalized. I'm excited about doing that because it's not necessarily a book review. I think you should read all the books that I will be talking about. Some of them will be harder to acquire now that they're on the best sellers list for the New York Times, which is exciting. But I want people to be reading those things and not just reading, more importantly, interacting with them and choosing how they're going to actually act, not just social media posting, but actually act on those things. So in the next few weeks, I will be talking about different books. A lot of them I will not have on hand because I've either loaned them out or I borrowed them from the library when I initially got them a few years ago, and now I can't purchase them, which is great. Some of them might be a young readers edition that I will show you the cover of, but I read the adult version and I got the young readers one for my kids. I'm excited to share those things with you, but more importantly, I'm excited about talking about how they changed me, because I think it's great to buy the books. It's great to read the books. But if you're not looking at books, and this is an overall book thing, if you're not looking at a book and figuring out how it changes you as a person, what are you really doing reading it? So that is my plan going forward. If I do say something that confuses you with any of those books, or you need clarification on them, or if I say something and a non-white person wants to call me out on it, that's fine. I will do my best to take in that information. This week has been interesting for me because I made the mistake of engaging with a comment, a dialogue in the comment section. Never a good thing, right? Like, I should have known better. But it was a friend of a friend that I originally posted to. She posted something that I wanted to kind of call her out on, and she never jumped in on the conversation, which is what I was hoping for, but one of her friends did, and it got kind of ugly. And she called me a racist towards white people, which, whatever. But I think it's going to be a lot of those kinds of conversations with people that we do know and trust. I've had some of those conversations with people, and I hopefully will get permission from them, or maybe not even get permission, I'm not sure, and talk about some of the hard conversations that I've had with people that have been helpful, so that maybe you can figure out how to get that in with one of the people that you're having a hard time talking with. All of that said, that is my preamble to the actual content of this. I wanted to really, sorry, kids always need to eat apparently. I really wanted to point you in the direction of listening to some of the Black booktubers that have already been talking about race in the last couple weeks. Honestly, a lot of times they get bumps in their analytics when it comes to Black History Month TBRs, and maybe not much other than that sometimes. And so it's been very, I can't imagine how it must be for them seeing their subscriber number climbs without much change in the comment section. It's kind of similar, it feels like, to the having to look for the Black friend to check the box. And a lot of the people that I've listened to are, again, saying, like, I can't trust that. And I'm tired of being excited about it because it's not about me anymore. It's about the viewer trying to get the box checked. So if you have subscribed to more Black booktubers, I really encourage you to actually watch their content, interact with it, read their suggestions, ask questions of the text, not of them necessarily, and be okay if you're being called out on some things that maybe aren't your favorite thing to be called out on. Tiana and T was a Black booktuber that I hadn't seen much of before, and she was suggested to me this week or last week, not sure, and I watched her Being Black on Booktube video, and she had some great suggestions for people, again, actually interacting and actually being there for them on Booktube. But Ashley from Bookish Realm is where I've been blown away. She's been on here I never remember if I've been on here 5 or 6 years. She's been on here 6 years. So we started closest to the same time. She's a librarian. She's the cutest daughter ever. And I've loved especially her YA suggestions and her middle grade reader suggestions for my kids. Over the years, she's been really great. She had some really, really powerful videos that made me uncomfortable to watch, which was a good thing. I don't do well when I see other people's pain. I'm a very empathetic, like, if anybody watched Star Trek Next Generation and Deanna Troi, who like can feel other people's feelings, like that's just how I'm kind of built. And so anytime I feel other people's feelings that are uncomfortable on camera or I'm with them, I can't, it's just a lot to take in. And so it was really hard to watch her talk about how we failed as a community for her for years and years, and how she doesn't trust us, and how there's no reason. And I totally agree with her. There's not a reason for Black booktubers to feel like now is any different than how it's been. So I really encourage you to watch her video. She was very eloquent, and that comes in later. The articulate, that comes in with a different thing later. I literally mean like the way she organized everything is stuff that I have been trying to put into words for a while with some other people. It was very succinct, to the point. I hope you're not taking offense by the eloquent comment. Now I'm in my head, but you'll see later if you watch the town hall Booktube inclusion diversity, which I will link to again in the comments. There's a whole thing talking about how oftentimes white people will say to Black people, "You're so well said. You're so well." I can't even talk. You're so eloquent. You're so articulate. That is not what I meant. I'm sorry, Ashley. Yeah, I mean to say that I was so excited to see everything laid out so perfectly for all of the ways that we need to do better. This is a rambly apology now. And this is how we awkwardly get through. I'm not going to edit this out. I'm not going to start over. I'm going to just leave this in so everyone can see that it's awkward and it's going to be hard. That's good. Anyway, Ashley and several other booktubers, did a town hall where they talked about, booktube inclusion, diversity, how frustrating it is to see subscriber count go up and comments stay the same, how frustrating it is for colorism to be an issue, and how YouTube as an algorithm, it's hard to try and figure out how to change that unless people intentionally change that in their brain when they click on people. And I've started, because of some of the recommendations, instead of subscribing to some of these newer people that I'm getting recommended to, I put their videos on a watch later list so I can actually see, are these people that I will be willing to engage long-term with. I don't want a one-night stand booktuber. I want a long-term relationship booktuber to follow, and I'm excited for that. So maybe that's another suggestion. Ashley had no, it's going to be lunch soon. Sorry. Ashley did another really great, she had a really great distinction between ally and accomplice. Ally is a title that you get bestowed on you by a minority group. It has nothing to do with you saying for yourself, I'm an ally, because that's empty. An accomplice is somebody who's willing to show up and do the hard work. And I'm seeing a lot in my personal life of noticing the difference. One of the people that I'm friends with, who really has had a very big impact on me in my own personal community, in my own personal town. I met him last year, working on, I was coaching our young people robotics group in town with my husband. And we had chosen to do like a park plan recommendation for the city to change one of the parks in our town. This park happens to be on the west side of town, which is the historically Black side of town. It's predominantly Black neighborhoods. And there have been a lot of parks that have been overlooked for a long time. It's also a food desert. There are a lot of issues on that side of town. And we moved closer to the west side of town last year. And so I honestly was pretty naive myself as to what the tensions were, what was not being done, those kinds of things. So I started working with my friend. I'm not going to say his name on here. He is a Black leader in the community who isn't a politician, but has just made it his mission to show up for his community. He has a concerned citizens group that I joined, and uncomfortably, I'm one of the only 2 white people that showed up. No, there was one other person who came in late. So that it's, again, for me, it felt like overwhelmingly like that's the west side. Like we need to pay attention. And it was very clear because of the racial distinction why that side had been overlooked. Anyway, so he and I have been working on some things, some local projects over the last year, honestly, which has taken away some of my attention from Booktube, and I'm okay with that. With some trying to get the parks done and changed, trying to apply pressure to alter the food desert situation. I've been really, really proud to call him a friend and I'm really excited to work with him. So I was having a conversation with him after last week, and it really kind of sealed the deal for me on how to proceed. We are in a weird situation with the pandemic where because we have immune compromised people in our family, I have not been going to the protests and the marches, which bothers me because I don't know if I'm making the right choice. But I talked with my friend and he said, I'm glad they're doing marches and I'm glad that people are showing up for them and I hope that there's change because of it. But the thing I really want people to show up for is the boring town hall meetings and the council meetings and writing letters and applying the constant pressure that's the draining work that we've been doing a long time. And I agreed with him. It made me feel, honestly, it helped my heart feel a little bit better knowing that it was okay. I wasn't failing him or anyone else by not showing up at the marches because of a reason, but it did remind me again how important it is for people to not show up at the march with a sign, but to do other things, not just to educate yourself, but to actually act on those things. And a lot of times I said in my last video, I've been very guilty of educating myself and not always following through in the ways that I need to follow through. It's one of my personality problems that I'm working on. So I don't want to make this too long because honestly, what I really, really want you to do is go watch the town hall that Ashley participated in. And I will link it below. It's long. I had to watch it in bits. It was worth every minute of it because there is not anything that these women glossed over, missed. It will hopefully upset you in a good way. It'll hopefully implicate you in the things that you need to do better with. I really, really, really hope you watch this. And I'd like to hear what you think of it in the comments, and ways that you are trying to do better and engage in your own personal community with your own people, because that's how change happens, not just showing up and subscribing on somebody's channel. It's going to be a long, long journey. Any of the books by the civil rights fathers and mothers are going to tell you that. Like, it's a long journey and it's not going to get solved in a week. So, Yes, I will link those videos below. Also, this weekend, I will be filming the videos about the books that I want to talk about, how they've changed me. I'm really hoping that some of you are also doing things that are similar to that. And if you do watch content by Black booktubers, or really any of us, please, I know the comment section oftentimes are a train wreck, but that's where we engage with each other. You can private message people, recommend videos to your friends, read the books. Don't just show up and click. Show up. So that's it. I will talk to you later. Thank you, Ashley, again, and I apologize if my eloquent thing was wrong. I was just blown away by your content, and I should have looked up in the thesaurus a better word. I will talk to you all later. Love. Bye.